What's the most devastating, completely preventable thing that happened to your child at school? My daughter Ava was 12, skinny and fierce with a ponytail that always had flour from her art class in it. She wanted to be an engineer, taking apart old radios, sketching tiny bridges in the margins of her math homework. We told the school everything: allergies, emergency contacts, that she was in the science club and sometimes stayed late for supervised labs. We signed forms, left sticky notes, called the office to confirm the lab teacher had authorization to let her stay for practice. I thought that meant someone was watching out for her. It was a gray Thursday in late March. I was at a client meeting when my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. "Your daughter is being taken away by ambulance. Please come now." I remember my chair scraping back and feeling the world fold in half. I called the number immediately. It went to a chaotic line of someone saying, "We're calling you from the ER." The voice sounded like it was underwater. I drove in a blur, my hands white on the steering wheel. On the way, I called the school. The receptionist answered. Voice measured. "Yes, Mr. Reyes? Where's Ava?" "What happened in the lab?" I demanded. She told me to calm down and that the principal was handling it. The principal's voice was sterile when she finally picked up. "We had an incident in the chemistry lab. Students were evacuated. Emergency services were called. We're cooperating fully." Her tone said everything I didn't want to hear. There was an incident, and she had already moved on. When I reached the hospital, doctors were moving with that focused speed that makes everything else stop. They pulled me into a separate room and said words I had to have repeated twice. An acute chemical exposure. Thermal injuries. She inhaled a toxic vapor. We're stabilizing her airway and we'll do imaging. My heart dropped and kept falling. The flashback came in fragments after that. The police report, the science teacher's statement, the video a student had taken on their phone. The lab had been unlocked after hours. A small group of students had been experimenting with a volatile solvent they'd found online, laughing and daring each other. A teacher had been supervising but left the room for 10 minutes to check on another class, and in that gap, someone knocked over a beaker. The spill hit a heated plate. The fumes spread faster than anyone realized. The part that made my stomach twist was the safety closet, a steel cabinet with emergency respirators and a clearly labeled ventilation hood. It was supposed to be unlocked during labs, but the principal had ordered it locked after budget inspections last winter. A memo called it restrictive access to dangerous materials and directed all keys to remain with administration. The teacher had asked for a key and was told no one was available. That detail was in emails I later saw. Request at 2:03 p.m., reply at 3:12 p.m. The accident happened at 2:19. Ava's classmates wrote notes for the police, hands shaking, describing how her laugh had gone quiet when she moved to help a friend sweep the broken glass. She bent down, breathed in the acrid cloud, then started coughing and then gasping. Someone screamed. Then the hall smelled like pennies and bleach, and there was a metallic tang under it. A dozen kids were coughing, but only one collapsed. They intubated her in the ER to protect her airway. She spent 4 days in the pediatric ICU, sedated while doctors watched for the worst. Chemical pneumonitis, compromised lung function, permanent scarring. Machines breathed for her. The beeps and the smell of rubbing alcohol and antiseptic baked into my memory. Nurses covered her tiny hand with mine so she wouldn't scratch at the tubes. I memorized the crease of her ring finger like it was the only part of her that still belonged to me. The school's initial statement was bureaucratic perfection. "We regret an incident occurred," it read, "and we are conducting a full review." There was a paragraph about parental concerns and a promise to implement immediate procedural changes. What it didn't say was that the safety cabinet had been locked, that requests for the key were ignored, that the HVAC system had known maintenance flags for weeks, and the budget meeting 2 months earlier had removed funds for prompt repairs. Those emails were later subpoenaed. The first public attention came when a student's shaky cell phone footage leaked, a 10-second clip of kids coughing in the doorway, then a flash like a blown-out light, then someone screaming. The clip went viral. People called it a tragedy. People called it negligence. Overnight, our mailbox filled with angry, confused, and sorrowful messages. Reporters circled like vultures. The superintendent made a statement on camera saying protocol was observed, while reporters held up emails showing the key had been withheld.